New shinies, new amazing Pokemon, and the best event of the year is coming soon with Pokemon GO's Halloween festivities. Starting with the Team Go Rocket takeover happening this month. This is an event you're not going to want to miss. Because what's spookier than new shadow Pokemon and the Team Go Rocket leader, Giovanni? This takeover is happening Thursday, October 26th at 10 a.m. to Tuesday, October 31st at 8 p.m. local time. And as part of it, we're getting a brand new shadow legendary Pokemon, Shadow Regigigas. Feels like it's been a really long time since we got our last shadow legendary Pokemon that wasn't in the shadow raids. So let me just go over exactly how to get this, because it's obviously very different than raiding. There will be a new special research storyline that you can complete to get a Super Rocket Radar. You then use that Super Rocket Radar to find Giovanni, beat him, and catch the Shadow Regigigas. Reminder that everyone can only get one Shadow Regigigas, and you'll be able to claim this research from now until the end of the season, which will be December 1st, at 10 p.m. local time. Also remember, when you're out finding Giovanni, you will find decoy grunts, which look like Giovanni but end up just being a normal grunt. But there are some shadow Pokemon that you could only catch from decoy grunts, which are pretty rare. I think that still is a thing. And this happens unless you use your Super Rocket Radar on your balloon. The balloon will always be a Giovanni, but it is riskier to do it through the balloon because you could glitch, you could lag out, something could happen, and if you do not catch your Shadow Regigigas with the balloon encounter and the balloon leaves, you lose your Super Rocket Radar, so be careful when you're doing that. And as for the relevancy of Shadow Regigigas, it's not that great as like a regular Pokemon, and I don't think the Shadow is going to make it much more meta relevant, so don't really have to worry about getting it for meta relevancy's sake, but it is a cool new Shadow Legendary. But there will be a really good Shadow Legendary releasing alongside Shadow Regigigas that you will want to catch. In the Shadow Raids, for the first time ever, we will have Shadow Lugia and Shadow Shiny Lugia. Yes, Shadow Shiny Lugia is coming to the Shadow Raids for the first time ever from Saturday, October 28th at 10 a.m. to Sunday, October 29th at 8 p.m. local time. You pretty much have 1 day to raid this thing, well, 2 days. And Shadow Lugia is currently ranked 40th in the Masters League, so definitely a meta-relevant option to catch. Plus, it's got a great shiny. There will also be a huge batch of brand new Shadow Pokemon, including Shadow Ghastly, Shadow Rhyhorn, Shadow Barboach, Shadow Cranidos, Shadow Shieldon, Shadow Drillbur, and Shadow Litwick. Pokemon like Shadow Gengar, Rhydon, Rampardos, Excadrill, Chandelure, they're all super duper meta-relevant Pokemon, so the fact that these are all being released in one batch makes this one of the most meta-relevant batches of Shadows ever released in-game. These are definitely great ones to grind. Also, the team leaders will be getting brand new Shadow Shinies, so if you haven't caught the current ones, I don't know what they are, make sure you get them if you want them, because they will change when this event happens. And make sure you're subscribed here to this channel to know what they change to. I'll report that here first. In the raids for this event, we will have in the 1-stars, Shadow Ghastly, Shadow Grimer, Shadow Mischievous, and Shadow Litwick, and in the 3-star raids, we'll have Shadow Nidorina, Shadow Nidorino, and Shadow Golbat. Again, several of these like Shadow Ghastly, Mischievous, and Litwick are all super meta-relevant options, so if you want to burn raid passes on them, might not be the worst idea, although stay tuned because there will be more things to burn your raid passes on that you might actually want. Oh, also, obviously in the Shadow raids just for the weekend, we have Shadow Shiny Lugia. So, meta-relevant, good shiny, very rare. Event bonuses for this event will include Team Go Rocket appearing more often in balloons and at Pokestops, and the best feature ever, you'll be able to TM frustration off of your Shadow Pokemon. This is something you do not want to overlook and do not want to forget and do not want to miss. Shadow Pokemon are the most meta-relevant Pokemon in Pokemon Go if and only if you can TM frustration off of them, which you typically cannot normally do unless an event like this happens. So again, please do not miss this opportunity. Go in, find your meta-relevant Shadow Pokemon that you want to get the move frustration off of, tag them so that when the event starts, day one, you can just go in and just TM, and then make your Pokemon actually useful. Also, the 12-kilometer eggs will have Larvitar, Sandile, Pawniard, Vullaby, Dino, Pancham, and Salandit. Remember, Pancham can be shiny. It's a newer shiny, very hard to get. And there will also be field research tasks that will reward mysterious components. If you get 6 mysterious components, it builds you a Rocket Radar, which you can then go and use against a team leader to maybe find a Shadow Shiny or get a 12-kilometer egg. So take advantage of that too, not always there. Overall, really exciting update and event for Team Go Rocket during spooky season. I am hyped about this. But it's not the only thing I'm hyped about, because speaking of spooky season, we've got one more big announcement today. Halloween Part 2. This one's gonna be good. This one's gonna be a banger. And it will also be going down Thursday, October 26th at 10 o'clock a.m. to Tuesday, October 31st at 8 o'clock p.m. local time. And we've got some brand new costume Pokemon being released in the game, and they look amazing. It will be Pikachu wearing a trick-or-treat costume and Gengar wearing a trick-or-treat costume. Pikachu obviously has this like cool orange fit with like an orange top hat going. This looks fantastic. And then Gengar's got like a hat and some, like, is that candy around his ears? I don't know what's going on with Gengar, but cool. Obviously, since these are brand new costume Pokemon, the shiny variants of these are gonna be super duper sought after and super rare. Plus the Pikachu, again, just looks kind of great. And there's gonna be a lot more costume Pokemon in the wild for this event. The wild spawns for Halloween include, this is Halloween Part 2, include Pikachu obviously wearing the costume, Vulpix wearing a costume, which we've seen in prior events, Murkrow, Mischievous, Sableye, Piplup wearing the little pumpkin hat we've seen before, Drifloon, Yamask, Zorua, Fennekin, Phantump, Pumpkaboo wearing the hat, which I did not get shiny the last time I was out, and I really want the shiny of that, and Noibat. Oh, and also Halloween Gengar will be spawning in the wild, which is huge because during the first ever Pokemon GO Halloween event, which was actually the first ever Pokemon GO event ever back in 2017, it was made iconic by the feature of Gengar spawning in the wild. It was so fun, it was so new, it was so cool. And I don't think any other Halloween event has had wild Gengar spawns since then. I might be wrong though, but I don't really remember, nothing really stands out. So this is huge that Gengar is back in the wild and it could be shiny and it's got the costume. This is fantastic. Not to mention Phantump can be shiny during this event. It comes out during the Part 1 Halloween event and it looks like this. It's already been found with that brand new Halloween spooky like October-y background, which looks fantastic. Very excited to play this new event. And shiny Phantump looks so good, so that is a must catch. And speaking of new shinies, for the first time ever in Pokemon GO history, Zorua will be shiny during Halloween Part 2. Shiny Zorua is like, instead of the red, it's blue. It looks super duper good. Really excited about it. It looks like this should be on screen. And it's gonna be extra fun because, like Ditto, Zorua hides itself as other Pokemon. So you won't be able to click on a shiny Zorua in the wild. You'll have to wait for the transformation process. And then remember that Zorua spawns in the wild as whatever your buddy Pokemon is. So to find Zorua easier during this event, make sure your buddy Pokemon is set to some maybe like just giant shiny like a Wailord, something that really stands out that doesn't spawn in the wild, or a shiny legendary. Now, which Pokemon should you focus on catching during this Halloween event? Obviously, anything with a costume is a huge target. They're all very, very rare shinies, especially the new ones, especially Gengar. And then pretty much everything spawning that can be shiny, Noibat, Drifloon, Yamask, Zorua, these are all very, very rare spawns and rare shinies. So everything's a good catch, pretty much. But meta relevant, Murkrow, because the shadow version of Honchkrow is a top dark type in the game. Sableye has a Mega, which isn't super meta relevant, but because it's a Mega, it's still technically useful. Mischievous has an amazing shadow form evolution of Mismagius that is one of the best ghost type Pokemon in the game. Drifloon has the same deal. Shadow Drifblim is a great ghost type attacker. Phantump, because I mean, obviously not only is the shiny new and amazing, but Trevenant is actually pretty good in PvP, ranking 73rd in the Great League and 61st in the Ultra League. And then obviously Gengar. It could be shiny in the wild, it's got the costume, and it's one of Pokemon GO's best ghost types. And it has a Mega, and the Mega is the #1 overall ghost type in Pokemon GO. Plus Gengar also ranks 89th in the Ultra League, so it's useful, sort of useful there too. We'll also be getting a timed research that gives encounters with Zorua, Phantump, and costume Pokemon, so basically like what everyone is looking for. And event bonuses will be nice and Halloween-y candy themed, and they'll include additional candy and additional XL candy when hitting and catching Pokemon with nice, great, and excellent throws. Costume Pokemon have a chance to give an additional candy when caught, which is kind of cool. And on October 31st, costume Pokemon will have a chance to give rare candy or rare XL candy when caught, which is really fun little Halloween surprise. So that's a cool feature, definitely something worth taking advantage of on Halloween, especially because there's a lot of pretty meta-relevant spawns. I mean, and it doesn't matter if it's meta-relevant, you can get rare candies or rare XL candies. Those can be used on anything. So man, on Halloween, if you're walking around trick-or-treating, have your Go Plus on. Oh, and the raids, by the way, for this event, we'll have Ghastly, Mischievous, and Phantump in the 1-star raids, Costume Gengar in the 3-star raids, Darkrai in the 5-star raids, and Mega Bayonet in the Mega raids. Out of these, the most meta-relevant options to burn passes on include Ghastly, because obviously Gengar is meta-relevant, we just talked about that, but Ghastly will be spawning in the wild, so maybe not the best one to use a raid pass on. And also, Gengar is in the 3-star raid, so you might as well just raid Gengar anyways. Super meta relevant, you can get the shiny, it's got a costume, it's a great raid boss to hit. Darkrai is currently a top 10 dark type in Pokemon Go and ranked 90 in the Masters League. Plus it's got a great shiny. I've got the Shundo. And Mega Bayonet is a great one to raid and get Mega Energy for, as it is the number 2 overall ghost type underneath Mega Gengar, so it is great. We'll also have some honestly pretty great field research that will reward encounters with Miss Magius, Galarian Mask, Phantump, and the new Pokemon Greavard, or Graveyard. And there will be another timed research that will last until October 31st that will be focused on catching ghost types and will reward Stardust and encounters with Greavard as well. Plus, we have another timed research that will give encounters with one of the rarest Pokemon and shiny Pokemon in the entire game, Spiritomb. This Pokemon comes around only once per year, and this timed research will be available until October 31st, and by completing it, obviously you will get encounters with Spiritomb, which can be shiny. The shiny is amazing, and it is very hard to get, so good luck on those. Then we've got new avatar items, a paid research, Amazon Prime research, and actually, if you look probably in-game now when you're watching this, a brand new spooky look, Halloween autumn look to Pokemon Go, which I think looks fantastic, and I'm very excited to have and to play with. And those are the big amazing updates I've got for you today. If you enjoyed and you're excited, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video where we play one of these brand new events. Take care.